Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Nick Van Riggemorter. I am a farmer from Iowa. This is my second day of full-time farming ever, and I just figured I'd bring you all along for the ride. And so this morning we're starting out with, we are changing the oil on this truck here. We're gonna drive it up on the grease pit, and then after that we gotta clean this absolute disaster in here because it's an absolute mess in here. Well, that one's already released. Open up the hood. Gosh, junk everywhere. And yes, she is a kitty cat. Let's turn on the lights and start draining oil. Good morning, everyone. Today we're starting right away with feeding cattle because my parents are gone to the state fair today. So right now I'm walking up the hill here to go grab the feeder wagon. It rained quite about 7/10 yesterday, so it's quite wet here, as you can tell. Other than that, it's a beautiful morning, sun's out. Kind of foggy, but other than that, pretty decent. And here we go. $46.30 John Deere, you know the deal. I don't mind the mess in here. Oh, my father left the key on. Hopefully it starts. Of course not. Dead battery. Take two. Hey! Gotta love rolling up jumper cables that just sat in water. That's always fun. But the life of a farmer. But it's pretty green, I would say. For those of you who don't know, this right here is called a feeder wagon or a feed mixer, depending on who you are and how you call it. But basically how it works is you dump the feed in here, you got these augers that just sit and mix the feed up, and then you can see over there there's a door and a chute, and actually the door's open, I gotta close that yet. And so when it's full, it'll kick the feed out along the, and you can go along the bunks and fill up the bunks for the cattle feed. Time to mix up the ration. Okay, now I'm down here. Check to make sure this thing isn't over full or anything. And of course it's got a bunch of oil in it. So I gotta drain it first. Well guys, change of plans. I didn't get to do as much cleaning as I hoped I would be able to, because now I am in the truck and I am on my way to go get a couple loads of feed. And so then one load will be going to a customer of ours and the other load will be going to my father. So I won't film the customer's place for obvious reasons, but I will come film when I get to my father's place and show you how everything works. Some of you guys are probably wondering what it exactly is that I'm hauling. Well, what I'm hauling is what's known as distillers. Distillers is a byproduct of corn. When you make ethanol from corn, basically they mash it up and they ferment it, and then the leftover mash is turned into what's known as distillers, which is, there's 3 different types of distillers, and the types of distillers are, you have dry, you have modified, and you have wet. What what wet distillers is it's as it is, comes out of, when they pull the alcohol off of it, it's usually about 50% water and about 50% feed, and it's usually it is the cheapest of the 3. However, you are paying for more water. Dry, on the other hand, they go and take it through a dryer, completely dry it down to a powder, and they take the syrup out of it, the corn syrup, and then they sell you just the dry corn matter, which is kind of like it's almost like hog feed, where it's a very, very dry powder. And then modified, what this is Modified, they take all the water out, they take the syrup out, then they end up mixing the syrup back in, modifying the feed from dry into modified. And this is, what's nice about this is it's cheaper than dry, it's more expensive than wet. However, you're not paying for nearly as much water, and you're actually getting some syrup back into it, which cattle like syrup the same way that we like corn syrup. Makes things taste better. Some of you may be wondering, well, what is this trailer and how does it work? Well, this trailer is what's known as a belt trailer. And how it works is, you got two hydraulic lines coming off the truck here, and there's a hydraulic tank and a hydraulic pump down below. And these hydraulic lines run all the way to the rear through a filter here, all the way to the rear, to this control box back here. And what this control box does is it allows you to open up the door, open up the slide, and then you can run what's known as the web or the belt. And the belt is just on this giant orbital motor, actually the small orbital motor and the giant gearbox, and it just spins, and the whole belt, the whole floor moves as a belt and just slowly drops the feed off and unloads the entire pile. Gotta love when you get a rock stuck in your tire. Always a bunch of fun. Luckily I caught this one before it did anything bad, but let's get it out here maybe. Pretty good sized rock right there. Well, now that that's done, we can go and have something that I'm really not looking forward to, but needs to be done anyway. And that is cleaning this absolute disaster inside this shed. We got junk laying everywhere in here. Basically what happened is, being that it's just my father and I doing all the farming, and we have farmed quite a bit of ground and, you know, cattle and hogs and everything, we've been getting really behind on actually keeping up with this place and keeping it clean. So what needs to be done is, now that I'm full-time, I gotta start cleaning this place. You can see right there, there's my toolbox from when I worked at a Ford dealership. And so, you ever have that feeling where you're just like, I don't even know where to start? That's how I feel right now. I don't know where to start. I think I'll start on the workbench here because it makes it a lot easier when you put all the tools away and everything and have a place to work on stuff instead of this. So, I guess we'll go to a time lapse of me cleaning. Yay! Well, it's better now. It's not great yet. You can now at least see the workbench. Obviously, I got junk laying everywhere yet. But as it currently sits, I don't have a place to go with the junk because look at the storage area. It's just all junk and I don't know where to put anything. So, I don't know. That'll be tomorrow's problem though. Thank you all for watching though. Until next time, have a good night.